Hi everyone. I'm going to describe this photograph. When, upon entering the photo, the viewer sees a medium shot of an African American woman centered in front of an American flag. The flag is in the background on the wall, but ominous in its scale, almost filling the frame. The image is fairly low contrast except for where a key light is highlighting the left side of the subject's face. She's holding a broom so that the bristles are upright. Similarly, there's a mop leaning on the flag and wall behind her. The broom and mop create a rhythmic pattern surrounding the woman symmetrically. Where she appears, it kind of creates an appearance for her to look even more stoic and taller than her tools. Beneath her round specs, her gaze is just off-centered, looking slightly down and to her right from the photographer's lens. By not looking the photographer in the eye, she further humbles herself to the situation. The photograph is black and white, and the modest polka dot dress of the woman suggests an early 20th century image, possibly from the Depression era. It's unclear what type of interior building this is, but when looking at another photograph of the same scene by the same photographer on the same day, it's more clear that this is an office building with high ceilings, possibly therefore a building of importance. It is clear that the photographer staged the photo. He didn't capture a woman working or document her activities spontaneously. The stagedness of the photograph suggests his intention to express a story or to make a point. The photograph on its own depicts a story of a humble woman living a life of servitude. It's not clear from just observing the photographs her feelings on that role or how she sees her role. But there's clear irony with an African American woman destined to servitude within the context of the American flag and all the ideals of equality, liberty, and opportunity that it stands for. When looking at the title, American Gothic, and learning about the photographer and why he was there, we see the reference to a famous painting by Grant Wood in 1930, who idealized the rural American farm couple working hard on the brink of the Depression. Gordon Parks' photograph is in 1942, after the Depression, but his subject, whose name is Ella Watson, appears to still be living under a Depression-era quality of life and working as a servant in the Farm Security Administration building, possibly protecting the iconic farmers in the previous painting that it references. Gordon Parks himself the photographer was African American born who lived exclusively in western areas of the United States before he was hired as a photographer by the Farm Security Administration, the FSA, a U.S. government position in Washington, D.C. Being from the West, Parks had never experienced the specific racism prominent in the American South that included D.C. In fact, the racism was so bad he was unable to do his job, and his boss suggested he document the lives of African Americans. The photograph of Ella Watson stoically standing in front of an American flag as a servant was so controversial in 1941 that it was kept from the public eye. It wasn't until the 1960s when Gordon Parks' photograph, American Gothic, became an iconic symbol for early African American civil rights.